In dog beers, I've only had one. There are a lot of famous quotes around beer, but one of my favorites is, "The best beer I've ever had, I made myself." Now that's a real quote from Brian Kelly, owner of EP Home Brewing Equipment and Supplies. Now, Brian, if my sense is correct, banana?
That is correct, Robert.
Oh my goodness.
So this is a banana bread beer.
Banana bread.
One of thousands of beers you could create yourself if you wanted to.
There's simply no limit then when you do your own home brewing.
Not at all.
Okay, well, my goodness. May I taste?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. Does it taste like banana?
My goodness, and it's full of fiber, as we've talked about. Now, okay, let's say somebody goes, all right, I want to try to make my own beer. Where do you even begin? And what kind of costs are we talking about? So what are the steps, and then what can people expect?
Sure. Well, that's what everybody, for the first time walking in here, always asks, how much is it going to cost? So the simple answer is, if you get everything we recommend that you get for your first time brewing, you're looking at about 130 bucks. So, and that's one time.
Wow.
After that, you can keep reusing your equipment over and over again. In addition to that, that's assuming you have your own boil kettle and a way to heat up the water. Okay. So if you do, then you're set. If you don't, we have stuff we can sell you that too.
Okay, so step one in starting to make a brew, what's the first step?
So once you have your grains, the first step is going to be to let them steep in the appropriate amount of water for about an hour. So
okay.
The first process of making beer is steeping your grains. So all of your grains, you're going to be just letting the sugars get extracted out of those.
Now, Brian, I've noticed you have a whole library of grains.
Yes.
And so you will grind the grains because that has to be ground up. Is that correct?
Yep. To get the conversion of the sugars right, you're going to need to not grind them per se. You just want to crush them. So you just want to be able to have that accessibility, so that the conversion can happen.
Okay, so we steep them and they steep for 1 hour, and then what's step two?
So step two is going to be then, now you want to strain all of the water out of those grains, and at this point you're going to be calling it the wort. And you're going to put that into your boil kettle. And then once you get all of that water out of, separated from the grains, you're starting the fire and you're going to just start a boil. And that's step two.
Okay. Step three, after that's boiled.
So step three, well, during the boil, I guess step three would be you're going to be adding your ingredients. So hops, you're going to be putting your hops in there at different times. Earlier you add them, the more bitter it's going to be. Later you add them, the more of that aroma you're going to get out of them. And then once your boil is done, you're going to cool it off, and you're going to move it into another container where you're going to start step 3.5.
Sure. Brian, when do I throw in the banana?
Okay, so the banana can be thrown in at any time you want.
Sure.
It really can. If you wanted to actually, put the banana in the beer, you could probably do this at the mash.
Okay.
You could also do it in step 3, which is the fermentation part, and you could grind up banana and put banana in at that point.
Or anything you want. Chocolate.
Anything. Yeah, chocolate's a very popular thing. Cocoa nibs, people put those in. People put wood chips to get the oaky taste.
All right.
And then also the yeast. There's 80 different grains that we sell, 50 over at this store, and depending on what combination you use, you're going to get a completely different beer. And if you add a different yeast to it, there's hundreds of different kinds of yeast. You're going to get a different taste out of that as well.
Okay, so finishing off those steps.
Yep. So now you're going to be adding the yeast to the beer that's already cooled, or the wort that's already cooled down, and you're going to be letting it sit in a cool, dark place for about a week or two.
I notice this thing is in its fermentation phase.
So I added, this is gone through process 1 and 2 and is now in process 3. I added the yeast last night, and then you can already notice that it's starting to bubble, here at the top. This is the yeast digesting those sugars and making CO2.
So then you move to the final phase, which is bottling it up and then giving it away for Christmas presents.
Giving it away for Christmas presents.
Brian, I gotta offer a toast to you and your excellent home brewing system and how easy it is. So if you want more information on this and to make it yourself, you go to our website, ktsm.com, click on that Studio 9 tab. Cheers.
Cheers.